All right. Doesn't look like anyone else is coming, so let's just get started. All right, everyone, welcome to a deeper dive quick look. We do these every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. This particular one is titled Orchestrating IronTech. So those of you that have talked to us, we spend a lot of time talking about administrative controls and orchestrating along with the technical controls. They're, the actual software that we use both day-to-day and what we put in your system, in your network, to protect your network and your utility. So what makes the orchestrations work so well is we depend on Slack and Zoom. Now, we all are familiar with Zoom because of coronavirus, so this is not going to be a demo of Zoom, but suffice it to say, we hold company meetings on Zoom. There's 2.5 of us that work from home, or, if you've got a sick kid, we can work. Just about everybody, I think, has got a laptop or a home setup and an office setup. So we can do all of this stuff from anywhere in the world, literally. In fact, Joseph is halfway around the world in North Africa. And if we didn't have a tool like Zoom, especially, it would be hard for us to have meetings. And then Slack is, people think of it as just a chat program, but it's actually a lot more to it than that. And I want to show you, I want to stop the share right now, and we're going to go in and I want to share out my Slack screen. I hope. It always changes up on me whenever I do this, so bear with me just a minute. All right. Now, Kinsey, can you see the whole thing, or are you seeing the chat and all that?
I'm seeing Slack, yeah. You can maybe pull it down a little bit.
Oh, you don't see the chat and the participants and all that?
No, I just...
Okay. I may have to kill that. So at any rate, let's take a look here at Slack. How's that?
Perfect.
All right, so I can't show you everything in here because we have to be consider the privacy of our clients. Don't want machine names and things like that to get out there. But what we have is several different channels. So the marketing department uses this. This is general, is just everybody in the company. We put general announcements in there. Production is used by the network administrators. Ticketing is tickets that come into the system. Alerts, we've got yellow alerts, critical alerts. We've got, this is one of our EDRs that's got its own channel. This is our PBX, our phone system's got its own channel. Flywheel is what we use to manage websites. That's our hosting provider. And just all of these different things where, since we live inside of Slack, these notifications come in here. Every one of those are integrated inside of our Slack, and we've got other integrations as well. And that's really what makes Slack so useful for us. So, we can come in here. We also have news feeds. This is a marketing feed, a couple of blogs that we follow for marketing. Security news, we're picking up dark reading. The register is really good, CISA. And right now there's a Chrome update that just came out at 10:15 a.m. So if anybody's using Chrome, you need to get it updated as soon as possible. So this allows us to stay on top of new attacks, like the one that, what was that, a threat watch or a threat warning that you sent out today?
Yeah, it was anonymous hackers. They're going after police and police stations with everything going on currently.
Yeah, I haven't heard much from Anonymous lately, but yeah, they are hacktivist. as you guys have heard us when we talk about threat actors, normally we're really worried about nation states and criminal organizations, but in this particular case, it's actually hacktivists that are causing a lot of problems with police departments. So at any rate, one of the cool things that we can do is we've actually got a website chat. So if you go to our website and chat with us, it goes straight into Slack. We don't have to do anything else. I mean, we don't have to use another application. It's all right here. And here's the chat from Kenzie. So I'm going to take her to a semi-private channel. This is how everyone else in the organization knows that somebody got the chat, right? So they'll see that it leaves a message out here that, well, it's not that one, it's the website chat, but it says that you'll see that it changes to just a chat for that particular person, and it took them to this particular chat channel. So Kenzie's not using Slack for this. She's using the chat on the website. So it's pretty good. We have people, both clients and prospects, use it because we all see them. We know that, you know, sometimes somebody in marketing may have to do a support call. So by everybody looking at those, because they're already in Slack and it chimes to let us know there's a message there, it gives us a lot better customer service and everything. And actually, for one of our vendors, which is our SIM tool, they've got a channel just for their partners, and we can get just instant help. They've always got people on here for support, or just I asked for some t-shirts and stuff a while back, and they sent them to us. But, you know, you could talk about, you know, problems that you're having in deployment, or you got a problem with this alert, whatever. And just everybody, it's a community like channel inside the Perch company, but they also have dozens of channels as well. So, and we can do the same thing for our clients. If you're using Slack, we can drop you into, I think it's already in here. We do have a channel for it. I just don't remember what it is. Let me get back to our stuff here. Well, it's in here somewhere. But at any rate, we can put we can give clients access to a special channel in chat as well. And it's just really powerful. And like Kenzie says, we use Zoom a lot, but we live inside of this tool. And this tool is what we use to orchestrate so many things. And what those things are, let's get back to the slide deck here, I hope. I'm probably going to lose the chat, the QA, and everything. Kenzie.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
All right. All right. So now, just make sure the slide's right is back. Is that right? So let's talk a little bit about the tools that we use. And this is by no means all. If you've been on some other webinars where I show you a slide of all the different layers of security we can put into your utility or your organization, you'll know there's a lot more than just 5 things, right? These are really our go-tos. You notice there's not antivirus on here. We don't sell antivirus anymore. We don't support antivirus anymore. Not to beat a dead horse, but I think I will. If you're relying on antivirus to protect you, you are going to get hacked. Antivirus is useless anymore. You've got to go to next gen stuff like an EDR. But let's talk about these things. We use us and our partners have these things called NOCs, SOCs, and control panels. So NOC is the Network Operations Center. A SOC is a Security Operations Center. And these are staffed by professionals. And then CPs are control panels. So depending on the vendor or us or the expertise and what they call it, it's going to be one of those things that we refer to. Now, in the case of a NOC, we use a tool called an RMM. That is a remote monitoring and management tool. And I apologize for these slides. They're not real good, and this is not live data. It's really hard for us to get really good production data that makes sense. But basically, this is a dashboard of our remote monitoring and management, and you'll see that it's got a list of organizations, of which there's 4 there. A total of 56 devices, 47 of which are healthy, and we can drill down into each organization and see exactly what the machine has, all the software installed. Have patches been applied? If not, we can apply patches. We can deploy software or uninstall software, do Windows updates. All of these different things is controlled with remote monitoring and management. That's the same thing that we use when we take control of your computer and show you how to do things. Sorry about the dog, he doesn't realize. That reminds me of that, what was that, a commercial where they're, or maybe I saw it on the web, where the guy is working from home and he's got flashcards up for the dog. Remember, if I'm on Zoom, no barking. I can't remember what that was. But at any rate, we live inside of this. We've got hundreds and hundreds of endpoints in our RMM. And this allows us to drill down into all the servers, laptops, desktops, Macs, and remotely monitor them and manage them. Now, the monitoring part comes in as we can see, and we get notifications inside of Slack when a hard drive fills up. We get notifications if CPU usage is too high. You know, once again, we've got critical and then we got yellow alerts. So a yellow alert would typically be a CPU usage. A critical alert would be completely out of drive space. We have a threshold set lower to warn us, so we catch it before it's totally out. It's actually, I think the critical triggers at 95%. Not sure about that, but it's up there a little ways. And I think 80% or 75% is when we get a warning about it. But this way, we're managing things proactively. We'll get critical alerts on network intrusions, critical alerts on backups, or we get alerts on backup. All of this stuff goes into Slack and or email. So we kind of live inside of this one as too. So when you look at our network admins, they all have, I think they're all 38-inch monitors. They're real wide. You can put 3 or 4 things easily, control panels up on the screen. You can shrink Slack down to where it only takes up a little bit, and your email where it only takes up a little bit. But generally speaking, we don't use email a whole lot to communicate, only if we want to keep a record of something or it requires some thoughtfulness, or, you know, Slack is more of an immediate tool that we use to communicate. So it's just another way to communicate. And you have to be sure that you understand what the best communication platform is for what your objective is. You know, if you're reviewing agreements, then that's probably an email thing. Or if you're working on it together, we make a Zoom call and collaborate on designing the agreement. So anyway, that's our remote monitoring and management tool. Just a real quick look. There's a whole bunch more to it than just this. But that's a key part of our, well, that's our NOC. That's a key part of the company. All right, so I mentioned AV, don't use it anymore. You need to get off of it. The replacement is Endpoint Detect and Respond. You hear us refer to it as EDR, or sometimes MDR. In fact, all of our EDR is managed. So that makes it an MDR. What that means is in both cases of our EDR, we've partnered with vendors that have their own SOC, their own Security Operations Center, that is staffed 24/7 with security analysts and researchers and just top quality, best in the world cybersecurity experts. And we jointly monitor, mitigate, and fix intrusions. And working together, we've got a control panel for EDR. They've got the SOC. We can see pretty much the same stuff. In this particular instance, this particular installation's got 6 threats covering 5 endpoints. It's analyzed 381 behaviors, of which 82 different applications are being monitored. So if you've heard me talk about EDR, you know that there's no virus in ransomware. Ransomware attacks have no virus. There's nothing for an antivirus to detect. So an EDR does behavioral analysis and or artificial intelligence. So this particular EDR has analyzed 381 behaviors in whatever period of time this is to make sure that it's not abnormal behavior. If it detects something abnormal, it fires off a critical alert in our Slack, and we immediately respond to it, as well as the vendor's SOC. They are working on it as well. Then if we have 2 EDRs installed, which is fine, we're a best of breed company, so we've got 2 really good EDRs. They do 2 different things. It has its own SOC that's staffed with the vendor's people that do high-level analysis and research and things like that. So between the 2, we work with our vendors jointly to slow down stop the intrusion. If we can't stop it, we want to slow it down, and then finally we want to get it off, quarantine it, kill it, and wipe up the network and get it all clean. Now, these 2 particular vendors, this one is really good at building on the fly fixes for like 0-day alerts, something nobody's ever seen before. Now, the other EDR can discover them and propagate worldwide in 20 seconds. But sometimes even it can't quarantine stuff, if it's really a new one and a really complex one. The NSA tools are out there in the wild, so these cyber criminals and nation states have the best attack tools available in the world. So, it's a cat and mouse game. So we had an instance at a surgeon's office where one vendor was just beating it back. We got multiple layers of security, right? So this one piece of software, this one EDR is just beating it back, but it can't kill it and it can't quarantine it. It was a lateral movement. It was literally infecting or it was doing hundreds of infections an hour, even though there was only like a dozen machines on the network, but it was just constantly battering it. Well, it was resilient enough to where it didn't actually get ransomware on the computers. It was able to bend but not break, but it bought us time to use the other vendor to develop a specific tool to attack that particular virus in that particular network, custom built on the fly. And that's one of the things, that's what we really love about this other vendor that we use. And so about 2 or 3 hours after the initial outbreak occurred, we were bending but not breaking. Our defenses were staying strong, but we couldn't kill it. 2 or 3 hours later, these guys gave us the fix for it. And so then we could start finally rolling back the damage, although there was very little, which I'm still amazed to this day. That thing was really, really wicked bad. But that's why we use, in some installations, we put 2 EDRs on there. It's just another layer, and you can surround your onion with as many layers of security, just like training's a layer. Spam filters are a layer. If you've seen some of the other, especially the quick looks, we've gone into some more details on layers, and but things like spam filters, which is not in here, but that's another security layer. DNS filter, it's another security layer. And these things are surprisingly affordable. So, you know, if you give us a call, we've done hundreds of these high-level assessments. It doesn't take long. How many computers you got? How many, or do you have any industrial control systems? What's your accounting situation look like, or your billing system look like? How does your water treatment stuff interact with the network? Air gap is not the solution, by the way. It's safer being connected to the network, to the internet. But we have to take all those things in account. But we've done so many of them that we can give you a really good idea of where that sweet spot, what we would do if we were in your shoes, how many layers we would install. And so these are like the core ones that we use almost for everybody. So another tool that we use is a PSA, Professional Services Automation. You guys know this is a ticketing system. You send in an email to support, or you call us, or you chat with us. That issue is going to be inside the PSA or the ticketing system, and a ticket number will be issued to it. You will then get all the communications for that we're working on it, or it's been fixed, or can we log into your computer, on and on and on. And it manages, it automates those ticketing responses and replies and keeps track of their status. And it gives us a lot of information for improving our service, right? So this particular example, this is not ours, but we're seeing here with this company, looks like 17 minutes, a little over 17 minutes time to close and chat. First response time is almost 5 minutes. First resolution time is 54 days. That's a little high, but sometimes issues do take 40 or 50 days. You know, if you're deploying servers, you got to do a lot of planning. So we log those in there as well. We log our projects in our ticketing system. Phone systems, it's not unusual for those to take over 30 days. And then 2 hours and 21 minutes for the first reply time, whatever this is monitoring here. But it gives us the ability to not only go right into the client and all of their users and make sure they're authorized for support, to make sure it's not somebody trying to hack into the company. We keep all of that in the PSA system, manage all the tickets, but it gives us the ability to see things overall, the holistic part of you know, orchestrating service delivery using the other tools that you saw earlier. So we'll put a note in there and says, okay, well, this EDR did this, and I'm going to do this next, or vendor A said, try this, or we've got a better way to do it. You know, it's just all these things, and we use Slack to communicate with our own team the status real time as things are going. It's not unusual to hand off things. It's not unusual to escalate it to someone with a little more experience in certain things. So the PSA, when a new ticket gets created, it goes to Slack. So we've got it right there in Slack to see there's a new ticket. Got high visibility on all these. And incidentally, we're working on this all year long. So we hope to have some pretty cool stuff here in the next, probably third quarter, maybe-ish. And then finally, a lot of you guys, especially if you have industrial control systems, we're going to recommend that we put in a SIEM, an SIEM, which stands for Security Information and Event Management. Now, you're probably saying, well, why do I need this if I've got these super cool EDRs and it's the best of breed, it's the best in the world, right? Well, this particular tool can actually monitor things that an EDR can't, like switches, like routers, like printers, like industrial control systems, SCADA devices, Internet of Things. If it can connect to a network, I don't think I've ever seen anything that actually connects to a network, either hardwired or wireless, that a SIM tool can't get information out of it. And then the SIM is looking for abnormal behaviors and events in the logs. And it's a near real-time thing. What you do is you set up sensors that poll periodically to look for abnormal behaviors. or indications or alerts that show up in the logs. One of the common scams is, you know, on Windows, is if you get somebody that you get the flash up for the alert, call the 800 number, and makes you think it's Microsoft. Well, they'll get on your computer and open up the event manager on Windows, and it looks like the whole thing's all messed up. But those are normal events, so we have to apply artificial intelligence and specify exactly what we are looking for that is abnormal. And that's what a security information event management tool or SIM tool will do. And it looks at those event logs in industrial control systems, anything that's firmware, it's embedded systems. That's what we can see with this. We can see when a toner cartridge is low on a printer. Just all sorts of things. Routers, we can see intrusion attempts. So it's partly an IDS as well. So is an EDR. It's also an IDS. Some of them are. Intrusion detection system, and an EDR also functions as an intrusion prevention system. Two different animals. A SIM tool doesn't work as an IPS. We have to respond to those with hands-on command line type stuff. So, but it's there, and if you've got ICS, and you sure don't want your water quality or delivery to be affected by it. So we want to keep an eye on those things. It has happened. And then finally, this is just another network tool that we use, especially for diagramming. It's not really a SIM tool, although they do duplicate some functions, but it's really great for diagramming the layout of the network and see where bottlenecks are. I think we can do bandwidth measurement on this and see unusual bandwidth usage by device, but it will detect anything on the network. If you've got, just like the SIM tool will, you've got printers, you got VoIP, voice over IP phones. If they're all on the network, it's going to see it, even if they're on different subnets. And I apologize for getting a little bit in the weeds here, but we can do this, and it'll scan for unauthorized devices, give us alerts. This stuff goes right into Slack as well. We can actually set up, actually there's 2 or 3 different ways we can do it. We can set up an email to go to the supplies manager to let them know that a printer toner is low. And that's kind of nice if you got a decent sized organization and you got 15 printers that you got to manage, and they all take different cartridges, and a lot of them are color. So now we're managing 60 different cartridges, and they're expensive, so you don't want to get too much in inventory. But then we can also send that alert as an email to the client, or we can send an alert for whatever triggers we define into our Slack channel. And then we still do email alerts and stuff too. In fact, I meant to show the one with the virtual machine. Our one of our backup solutions backs up to the cloud, and then it backs up the whole machine. So it's a virtual machine in the cloud. And one of the cool things it does is it boots the VM up, takes a screenshot, and sends us emails that proves that the virtual machine is bootable. Now, we monitor backups, logs, and other things first thing in the morning and continuously throughout the day. They go into Slack channels. But that one's a really nice automation, and it really gives you peace of mind that that virtual machine is going to be there when you need it. And it's just as if you were sitting in front of the computer. You're just running it over the internet. So I hope that wasn't too muddy, too technical. But if you've got any questions, now's the time to ask. You can also call us 479-434-1400. We're happy to give you a high-level assessment. Like I said, we've done hundreds of these. We can get you a ballpark of what you're looking at. We can also run your credentials, you know, your password and username, or just actually run your email and do a dark web report to see if your email is, if your credentials are for sale on the dark web, and where they got them from. And if you've had an email for any period of time, you're on there. I think I've got 15. And I've cleaned all mine. I've changed the credentials for all of mine, but it still shows up as being for sale. We can do that for free. We also got 30-day trial of security training, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. That's your first step to getting to a security first environment or a zero trust environment, which we're going to talk about. I don't know when it's coming up. We've got like 30 of these on the books. So, but if you're interested in any of that, to try out our security training, in 30 days is enough. It's really good. Just give us a call or fire off an email or chat with us on the website. We'd be happy to talk to you about it and discuss your own individual needs. Well, I guess I answered everything.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I guess we'll let everybody go. Thank you again for joining us. And I guess we'll see you next week. Take care.